let's see how we are going to draw the graph y equals sine x plus pi. We know here in this case pi will give us the horizontal shifting. It is shifting to the left or to the right. Here, let's do that. We have a y equals sine x. That's the picture. We always want to remember the basic one. That's sine. Starting from 0, 0, and goes to pi over 2, and here is 1. And then goes to 0, going down to -1, and then 0. So basically that's the case. 0, 0, and it reaches the highest point first, not the lowest, which is 1 at pi over 2 this place, and then goes back to 0 at pi. And then for sine x plus pi, which is the one we want to graph, remember sine starts from 0, 0. So here, if you have a x plus pi is 0, that will be the starting point. In order to have a 0 here, x needs to be negative pi, because pi plus pi is 0. And then you have sine 0 is 0. So really, in order to get the value here for 1, we need negative pi for this one. Let's see the second value. Previously, for sine x, here is just x. So when x is pi over 2, you have 1. Here, if x plus pi is pi over 2, you do not need x to be pi over 2. You need negative pi over 2, because negative pi over 2 plus pi is going to be pi over 2. And then pi over 2, sine pi over 2 is 1. It reaches 1. Similarly, if you have a sine pi, which will give you 0, you see right here. And then in order to have x plus pi is pi, you just need x to be 0. Because 0 plus pi, here you got pi, and then sine pi is 0. So really here, in order to get 0, you do not need x to be pi. You need x, in this case, to be 0. So you can see the pattern is the same for the rest of the two values. Previously, again, for sine x equals -1, you need x to be 3 pi over 2. So 3 pi over 2, we have a -1 for y value. And here is x plus pi. We do not need 3 pi over 2 for x. We just need pi over 2, because we know pi over 2, you plug in here, there's pi over 2 plus pi, you will reach 3 pi over 2. Then sine 3 pi over 2 will be -1. So basically pi over 2, when you plug into this place, pi over 2, you plug in this place, you will get -1 here. It's like this point goes here. Similarly, you will see for 2 pi we need is what? We need pi, because we know pi plus pi is 2 pi. And then sine 2 pi is 0. So you can see for the last 2 points here, we just need x to be pi over 2 to get -1. So that will be pi over 2 to get -1. We need x is pi, we got 0. We need x is 0, we got 0. We need x is -pi over 2, we get 1. So x is -pi over 2, you get 1. And x is -pi, we got 0. So it's like the graph will be like this. So 0, -1, 0, -pi equals 0. So it's this point. You see? And then you have a -pi over 2, 1. That will be this point will be somewhere here. Okay, somewhere here. Yeah. And then this point will be here. So it's like this piece will be shifted like this. And then this part will be shifted like this. So the graph is basically shifted like pi units to the left. So if you want to draw the picture, you can do sine y equals sine pi plus x plus pi. You see that will be the one right here. And then you see previously this point goes to here, and this point will be here. And then this point goes to here. So sine x plus pi is pi units to the left shifting. Remember, one here is plus pi. You'll have a horizontal shifting to the left. To the left is -pi. So here is positive pi. Then from the origin, you shifted it to the left-hand side, you have a -pi. So you want to remember that. One here is positive pi. That's pi unit to the left. You shift to the -pi. That's why sometimes I wrote here is x minus -pi, because negative is positive. So you then have a -pi is here. So based on our explanation here, then we have the graph will be like this. That's the same with the blue one right here. This one changed the period, so that's not correct. Because from here 0 goes to 1, 0, -1, here is 0, so that's one period. This pi is not going to change the period. It only shifts the graph. Here is the unit to the left. This one is the vertical shifting, which is not right. The curve was shifted up. That's not right. This one is not right also, because starting from -pi we got 0. We do not get -1. Okay, that's the reason. So that's how we got this picture. Okay, all right, I'll see you next time.